Hello friends, welcome back to Canadian Nest. I hope you all are doing well. So this is the fifth video of Canada City Comparison series. In this video, we'll be discussing about two major cities of Canada which are close to each other also, which are like neighboring provinces. The first one is Toronto. So the neighboring province which is more popular is Quebec, and the city which we are comparing today with Toronto is Montreal. So in this video we will be discussing about Montreal versus Toronto, and I hope you will like this video. So if you are visiting my channel for the very first time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also like this video if you find this video useful. Also you can share the video so that more people can benefit from it. So before moving ahead, let me tell you what all this video will cover. We will be talking about population, geography and time zone, weather, cost of living, salaries and taxes, jobs and job sector in demand, the minimum wages, rent, crime rate and transportation. So stick around, do watch the video till the end and it will be very useful. So without wasting any more time, let's begin. So the first point is population. So in Toronto the population is approximately 6.2 million, whereas in Montreal it's 4.2 million. The community population as per the 2016 census, let's check it. In Toronto it's European 47.7%, South Asian 12.6%, Chinese 11.1%, Black 8.9%, Filipino 5.7%, Latin American 2.9%, West Asian 2.2%, Korean 1.5%, Southeast Asian 1.5%, Arab 1.3%, Aboriginal 0.9%, Japanese 0.5%, multiple visible minorities 1.8%. So let's check the community population in Montreal. Montreal, as you know, is in Quebec province, so it's mostly European province. So European are 63.3%, visible minorities are 34.2%, out of which Black Canadians are 10.3%, Arab Canadians mainly Lebanese 7.3%, Latin Americans 4.1%, South Asian Canadian 3.3%, Chinese Canadians 3.3%, Southeast Asian 2.1%, Filipino 1.4%, West Asian 0.9%, Korean 0.3%, Japanese 0.2%, and multiple visible minorities 1%. So from here you can see, the European touch is more in Montreal, but wherever you go, either Toronto or Montreal, you will find people from other ethnicities as well. So now let's check the geography of these two cities. Toronto, as you know, is the capital city of Ontario province in southeastern Canada. It's the most populous city in Canada. It's a multicultural city. It's country's financial and commercial center. It's located on the northwestern shore of Lake Ontario. On the other hand, Montreal is the second most populous city in Canada and is the most populous city in the Canadian province of Quebec. So it's located approximately 196 kilometers east of national capital Ottawa and 258 kilometers southwest of the provincial capital Quebec City. It is one of the most bilingual cities in Quebec and Canada, with over 59% of the population able to speak both English and French. It is the second largest primarily French-speaking city in the developed world after Paris, France. It has the highest number of restaurants per capita in Canada and the second highest in North America after New York City. So about the time zone part, both of these cities fall in the same Eastern Standard Time Zone. So there is EST and it's GMT -5. So now let's check the weather in these two cities. As you can see from the graph, the temperature in winters it can go up to -8, -10 degrees Celsius in Toronto, and in summers it can go up to 27-28 degrees Celsius. In Montreal it's little colder, so it can go up to like -12, -13 degrees Celsius in winters, and in summers it can go till 25-26 degrees Celsius. So from temperature wise, I think Montreal is a little like 2-3 degrees colder as compared to Toronto. So now let's check the snowfall in these two cities. So from the graph you can see Toronto starts receiving snowfall around September, October, and it goes till April. And from the graph of Montreal you can see the snow starts around October and it goes till May. But the amount of snowfall in Montreal is much more as compared to Toronto, as you can see from the graphs. There is more snow in Montreal as compared to Toronto. So the winters are little harsh, I could say. So coming to the crime rate in these two cities, In Toronto, as you can see from the image, its crime index is 39.21. The safety index is 60.79, whereas in Montreal the crime index is little less, it's 29.07. the safety index is more, it's 70.93. so overall Montreal is little safe as compared to Toronto, but if compared with other world cities, both are equally good. I mean, the safety index is pretty much good, 60 and 70. So now let's check the most important part of these two cities, the rent part. I mean, in Toronto, a studio apartment costs around 1600 Canadian dollars, whereas in Montreal it costs around 1050 Canadian dollars approximately. A one bedroom apartment in Toronto costs around $2000 Canadian dollars. It could vary from 1800 to 2400 depending on how close to the center you are living and how far. In Montreal it's around 1300 Canadian dollars. A two bedroom apartment in Toronto costs around 2600 Canadian dollars, whereas in Montreal it's around 1700 Canadian dollars. So from here you can easily see that housing is very affordable in Montreal as compared to Toronto. Though in Toronto you can live on the outskirts, like there are many cities like Brampton, Milton, so there the rents are cheap. So now let's check the cost of living in these two cities. Toronto has a cost of living index of 75.5, whereas Montreal has a cost of living index of 69.03. So from here you can see the cost of living is comparatively less in Montreal as compared to Toronto. So cost of living rank of Toronto is 98th out of 209 cities in the world as per the Mercer's 220 cost of living survey. And according to the same survey, the Montreal ranks at 137th out of 209 cities in the world. So it's a Mercer's 2020 cost of living survey. So it could also be stated from the next statement that you would need around Canadian dollar 5,171 in Montreal to maintain the same standard of life that you can have with Canadian dollar 6,600 in Toronto. So now let's check the salaries in these two cities. In Toronto the average salary is around 64k, whereas in Montreal it's around 62k Canadian dollars yearly. So a software developer earns around 69k Canadian dollars, you can see from the image, whereas in Montreal it could around 67k, and the project manager, it could be general or something, it earns around 76k Canadian dollars, and in Montreal it's around 69-70k. So you can see from the images that I mean, the salaries are little less in Montreal as compared to Toronto, but overall it's almost similar. It could vary on job to job and the demand in that city and province. So the average salaries range from 40k Canadian dollars to 102k per year for most of the professions. It could vary higher also, it could be little less, but it will be around somewhere in this range only. So now let's check the popular employers in these two cities as per PayScale website. So in Toronto, these are Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, RBC Bank, TD Canada, it's another bank, Deloitte, BMO Financial Group. So from here you can see mostly banks are there. So like I told earlier, it's a financial hub. In Montreal, the popular employers are CGI Group, Bombardier, Ubisoft Entertainment Inc., McGill University, and GSoft. So these are mostly like you could say IT companies or some universities, institutions like those. So now let's check the taxes part. The taxes are little complicated here, as I mean there are federal tax as well as there are provincial taxes in provinces and territories. So in Toronto it's harmonized sales tax, HST. It's a sales tax that is applicable to most goods and services in number of Canadian provinces including Ontario. It is 13% overall tax in Toronto. It comprises of 8% provincial tax and a 5% federal tax. Though Ontario provides a relief on 8% provincial portion of the HST on specific items, so that items you can check, maybe Google it. In Montreal, Quebec has a GST plus PST. So PST equivalent called QST basically. GST is normal goods and services tax and PST is provincial tax called Quebec sales tax, QST. So here the GST is 5% and QST is 9.975%. So which totally amounts to 14.975%. So the by comparing, you can see the tax is little more in Montreal as compared to Toronto. So the GST part, or the federal tax part, which is 5%, which you have seen in both the cities. So this is common for all provinces and territories. Wherever you go, you have to give this tax at least. The rest could be provincial tax. It could vary from province to province and territory to territory. So another amazing fact I want to say here, like the Alberta province and the 3 territories are the only provinces where provincial tax is null. So there you just have to give the GST or the federal tax, which is 5%. So now let's move to the minimum wage part. In Toronto, as it falls under Ontario, so the minimum wage is 14.25 Canadian dollars per hour. So it's applicable from 1st of October 2020. In Montreal, it's currently 13.10 Canadian dollars per hour. From May 1, 2021, it will be increasing to 13.5 Canadian dollar per hour. So about the jobs and job sectors in demand in Toronto, these kind of job sectors are mostly in demand: technology, business and finance. Like I said, it's a financial hub. So life sciences, like clinical research associate, biomedical engineers, compliance managers. Healthcare is a lot demand, so RNs and RPNs, like those. Marketing managers, mostly. Translators, drivers are always in demand. Occupational therapies. So Montreal also has a similar kind of jobs and job sectors in demand, mostly. A little here and there is there, like managers of general and specific types are in demand. Business and finance and administrative occupations are a lot. So natural and applied sciences, health occupations, like I told, registered nurses, head nurses, supervisors, LPNs and caregivers are in lot of demand throughout Canada. So sales supervisors in processing, manufacturing and utilities, transport and equipment operators, heavy transport machinery operators, so they are also in very much demand. So software developers, engineers, designers, they are like they are demand everywhere where there is IT. Delivery drivers, they need everywhere. Server, store managers. So from here you can see mostly the ones which are in green or red, they are mostly they are demand throughout Canada. So you will find those type of jobs in every province mostly. Few jobs are like there which could be particularly in some province. So now let's check the modes of transportation. In Toronto, there are subways, buses, streetcars by TTC, inter-regional commuter rails and bus by GO Transit as well. In Montreal, Via Rail is there, which provides rail services to other cities, particularly to Quebec City, Ottawa, Toronto. So several trains are there daily. Regional passenger train is also there, which is provided by EXO. Normal buses, metro, ferry. Amtrak provides service between Montreal and New York City also. So coming to the airports part, Toronto has 2 airports, Pearson International Airport and Toronto Island Airport. The main one is Pearson. In Montreal, there are also 2 airports, Montreal Trudeau International Airport, commonly referred to as Montreal Dorval International Airport because it's located in the city of Dorval. And another one is a Montreal Mirabel International Airport. It was a former international passenger airport and it's now a cargo airport, and some domestic flights. So the local transportation, the one-way ticket in a bus normal takes around 3.25 Canadian dollars in Toronto, whereas in Montreal it's 3.5 Canadian dollars for one ticket. The monthly pass is cheaper in Montreal, it's around 88.5 Canadian dollars, whereas in Toronto it's around 150 Canadian dollars. So local transportation is little cheap in Montreal as compared to Toronto, but if you are buying a pass and all. So if you are looking for a city with world-class learning institutions, cheap rents, low cost of living, dynamic cultural scene, year-round festivals, affordable public transportation and more youth population, which is a walkable city, and you need amazing food and great restaurants, and which should be really safe and it should be pretty and beautiful, then that city is Montreal. So if you are looking for more ethnic neighborhoods and a big city life, you want to live in downtown and in the hustle bustle of the city, you need you want to enjoy a lot number of festivals, worldwide festivals, cultural events, and you need a hustling bustling city, and your job is more inclined towards financial companies, so and you need a very well connected city, so that would be Toronto. And there are neighboring cities and towns as well, like Brampton, Mississauga, so which are quite popular and you can live there as well. If you are liking my videos, do hit the like button and do comment which part you are liking the most and which part could be improved, so that I could present you more informational videos. I hope you enjoyed this one. So do hit the subscribe button if you have not subscribed yet, as many more videos are coming, and you will be notified if you hit the subscribe button. So thank you for watching this one. See you in some other video.